Miracle starts from now going forward. So as an individual, clear my past mistakes. Akatoenda sekwenda kwakaenda 2024. Now we're starting again. We want to avoid my mistakes that we made. If anything, if we're thinking about the past, it should be my lessons that we're taking from that ndadzidze as an individual. Pamwe wakatadzirwa kubasa mumba mumhuri, pamwe wakakanganisa iwewe as an individual, self care. Zvitarise kuti chandikukanganisika inini chi. Vazhinji we neglect self care. We over-committing in pleasing other people, but we don't want to kunoti nindaito zvinhu zvinobudikira here muupenyu hwangu. Another activity that we can do, a practical example, is journaling. How am I feeling? When I'm feeling low, I should chambotrigger kuti ndifile low chi. Chiri kukonzeresa ndifile this way chi. Or maybe it's because of what this one has said or what that one has said. So let's try journaling, and also let's try a gratitude journal starting from now. Every day write 3 things that you are grateful for. That you are grateful for. I'm grateful for utano chaiwo. I'm grateful for upenyu, because pano mwakatosara muna 2024. I'm grateful for varikubasa rumabasa nditi. I'm grateful for basa. I'm grateful for upenyu hwangu. So let's try and be grateful. Chinhu chese chine positive side, chinhu chese chine negative side, but the moment we focus only on the negative side, tinozvikanganisa. By so doing, we are being mindful of managing stress. And stress escalate to depression and anxiety. So let's try and do that as individuals.
Right. So
and also, sorry, Eve, let's seek professional help. Because as an individual, you can only do so much. But I need professional help. I need professional guidance. Let's do that. Let's seek professional help. Early intervention is key. Early intervention is key. So let's try and seek professional help when we feel overwhelmed.
All right. Now that we've touched on family and individuals,
yes,
there's also couples. 2 different people in the same house.
Yes.
How can they navigate the mental health challenges for 2025 together?
Yes. So maybe the mistake that we made in 2024, and as you rightly said, Eve, 2 different people, tinofunga zvakaita sei futi zvakasiyana. Maybe muna 2024 my problems edakaunda because we didn't have a common goal. We didn't know where we are going. So as a couple, ngatigare pasi, what are we doing this year? Where are we going? So that at least, kana taakuziva, zvichatipa one language and we'll be one person and success is obvious. So let's try as a couple. Gore richitanga kudai ngatigare pasi. Gore rino tikuenda kupi?
Okay.
Tukurongeine upenyu hwedu. Kana vana varipo, what are we planning for our children as individuals? How are we going to grow spiritually? How are we going to go even career wise? Urikufungei, urikurongei, tiongwavangwava tichiita sei? Quality time yedu, we have to be intentional because when tiri busy. The papi, when are we going to have a date night as a couple so that we increase our bonding yedu? When are we going to have my meals together as a family so that to be practical in setting that bonding time yoyo, because you find sometimes tinovarairwa because of the so many things that we need to do, but tikagara paka gore richitanga and setting that goal as a couple zvinobatsirisa. Hapana chinombotadzisa kuita ma-retreats as a couple, hapana chinotadzisa kuita a retreat as a family so that we go and then we enhance our communication skills.
Right, so you've touched on couples that sound like a bit old, yeah?
Right.
Like they've been in this relationship for a while or they're together. But let's talk about new couples.
Oh, yeah.
Because now you're very new. You are starting a life together and it's a new year that already comes with its own issues.
Very true.
And then there's you guys who are we've just started staying together. How does that play out?
Thank you very much, Eve. So as a new couple, tichangotanga hatitozivani. They say Anzi love is blind, but marriage is an eye opener.
Yeah.
So again, communication. Everything starts with communication.
Okay.
Everything begins with communication. Gatigari pasi as a couple. What is our goal for this year? What do we want to achieve? And when we are setting these goals, they must be smart. They must be specific. They must be measurable. They must be attainable. They must be reasonable. And they must be time bound. And it all those things. Remember, ikapo inyoan gore rineri gore rekutanga. And it ngatite goals edari realistic. Tichiri kutanga pamwe titi vatatenga zimba zombe. Mari dzachasati dzaungana zvakanaka. But we want to get to know each other. Pamwe tomutanga pamwe tutanga tukuloja mu one room. Gore richipera mwari watopafadzo tinonge tamu 2 rooms or tinonge tamu 3 rooms or maybe toda kutenga stand somewhere kuri reasonable. How are we going to do it? The how part. Why is it important for us? Izvozvo zvinokosha because it helps us even to create boundaries to separate us as a nuclear family from the bigger family. So I find it as a new couple, when you don't have goals, when you don't have boundaries, zvinonetsa to distinguish you from the bigger family. Ndopa unozoona pamwe ma-in-laws ari kuzotitonga manje, but vari kutitonga because isusu hatina zvedu handiti zvatikaronga isusu tiri 2. So kana titori 2 the better. Ngatigare pasi and hazvisi zvinotora a few minutes. Setting your goals for the year, you need maybe kind of 2 hours or so in a place kuri quiet, my phones aside, and we learn to be practical. Chironga upenyu wedu.
All right, profound there. So, right, let's talk about, we're just starting the year, and people are coming from the holiday, where they've probably overspent, and they've got bills to pay for January, for those who've got kids that are going back to school, and all that. So there's so much pressure, and then now you have to come back to work, where they expect you to bring in 100%,
That's
of
very
which
true.
as it should be. But because your mind is everywhere. So now my question then comes to the workplace. Yeah, it's another critical area. So how can workplaces support mental health in 2025?
You're very right. If Fungwa already the one we say ndizondapinda mushopi kutsvaga uniform yemwana and I was surprised kutona makazara.
Yes.
And we're saying schools are opening next week. Saka already vabereki vari kufunga fees, vari kufunga my uniforms, and you have to perform kubasa, and payday is coming. So at 42 January.
Yes, 42.
42 January. You know what? Control what you can control. There's some things that we don't have control over. What do you have control over? No matter how much you think about that you don't have control over, hazvichinji. And kubasawo at least kwakanaka kuti tikamboconcentrata pane zvatiri kuita paworkplace pedu tinoavoida ma-accidents, especially for those vanoshanda nemamissionary. You find pfungwa dziri kure, complacence creeps in. Pamwe vanhu takukonzeresa ma-accident, especially for those vanoshanda nemamissionary.
Most work accidents happen in January because I think the stress levels anenga akanyatso.
Yes. Maybe we could also encourage my employers to be aware of our environment and try and create an environment inorerukira vanhu. Vamwe they give soft loans kune ma-employees avo so that vanokavha nhamo dzavo dzezvezvikoro. Saka unorerutsira vashandi kuti vava vanorerukirwa, especially during this time.
Okay. So now, what role does the church play? I'm sure the church also has a role that it plays in supporting mental health.
That's very true. If when we read Romans chapter 12 verse 2, inondinakiza because it's talking about the renewal of the mind. Do not be conformed right to the patterns of this world, but be transformed. Mfungwa. Saka isusu church inogonafunza kuti mental health, it has nothing to do with the church. Yet the Bible is talking of nyaya ye renewal ye mind. When you look at Proverbs 4 verse 23, it says, above all else, guard your heart, for it is the wellspring of life. The Good News Translation says, be mindful of your thinking, right? For your thoughts shape your life. So as a church, we can no longer ignore mental health issues. Let's be aware of zvirikuitika now. Let's give a word of encouragement muna January. January. Let's make it even my workshops. As much as we do my workshops, a marriage for my couples, let's also do my workshops for mental health, so that to cope with my environments. Things like addiction and recovery, bereavement. Let's foster an environment where people can actually heal. And not only that, you find that sometimes maybe my Christian leaders, they are not equipped. They don't have the basic mental health, maybe first aid. Ngava train, Allied Health Practitioners Council, they have a mental health first aid course that everyone, our community leaders, even the church, so that we help the sheep that we are shepherding.
Right. So you've touched a bit on what I'm about to ask you first.
All right.
What I'm about to ask you next. We're talking about the role the church plays in supporting mental health.
Yes.
But now, how can communities, because after all is said and done, yes we've touched on family, we've touched on individuals, couples, workplace, church. We always come back to the community. So now, how can communities come together to support mental health in 2025?
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. If one way ndiye kuita ma campaigns in our communities at the same time so that we reduce stigma and we promote mental health awareness. And then at the same time, that we can practically do in our communities. Let's check on our neighbor. Not with just checking on your neighbor. It forces a sense of belonging and zvinoita mutual support. Ngatirigidze kungozvigarira mujuraho mangu imomo ndisingambozoti zviri kuitika pa next door. I belong to a community and together we can keep each other nekubatsirana, especially early intervention when we start suspecting mumwe wangu stress inenge iri kumukwadza umwe wangu. So sometimes unonetseka but pamwe help iri pa next door.
Right.
Your neighbor atori community momo mutori ne help but zviri kunetseka because ndada kuzviraramira ndega ndiri mukakuni ndisinganzwisisa kuti chii zviri kuitika kune vamwe.
But Joni, when we next door, like know your neighbors and stuff, it doesn't mean we don't chaga makua. This is strictly for.
That's true, very true.
So right, bringing it back home to you, Tendai.
Yes.
I mean, you are a marriage, family, relationships, mental health, addiction, and mental health counselor.
Yes.
So you as Tendai, how are you helping people prepare mentally for 2025?
Thank you very much. If we have workshops and seminars, right, that we can conduct for my churches, for my communities, for my workplaces, focused on mental health awareness and resilience building strategies. Because in the environment, but we need to help people to be resilient. So we have my workshops and seminars, and then we also have my online resources. We can do counseling online, we can do my webinars, and we offer my tools and techniques for mental well-being. And then for families and also for couples, and we're offering personal coaching, one-on-one coaching sessions to help individuals to set achievable goals that are sustainable, that will help them. So people can contact me on my number on 772-781-209 to book their session and their appointment. And I also refer anything that's outside my scope. I refer, so they can contact me on the same number 0772-781-209. So let's be mentally prepared, right, for 2025. Ngati empty if storage full pamumfungwa makazara because of zvakaitika to you as an individual, or zvakaitika to you as a spouse, or in your family as a sibling, or mu community mako. Let's empty. Ngati empty. Anditi patino empty totanga kubvisa ma videos anditi phone yakazarisa usually WhatsApp ndokwandoziya kunowanzo complain kovati storage full.
Yes.
Munoti atanga ma videos, visa ma videos anditi. So you have those videos that are on your mind of zvakaipa zvawakaitirwa. Zviri kukushungurudza zvakukonzeresa depression and stress. Delete those. Be intentional about deleting those. Hakuna ufunge. Hakuna miracle iko. I don't know why you are letting somebody live on your mind for free. Asingabhadhari rent. Let's restore zvinhu zvakanaka. Let's delete zvinhu zvese zvakaipa so that we start 2025 on a good note, so that we get all the blessings of 2025. Because if your storage is full, hapana blessing inopinda because pfungwa dzakawandiro.